Hi there, how was your day? There is nothing quite like a 3D Mario game. Each one is so unique and each one of them did something that furthered the series or gaming as a whole. Everyone's played at least one in their lifetime, and with all of them apart from Galaxy 2 and 3D Land being available on the Switch, I thought why not go back and take a gander at some of these titles. And today the stars are truly aligning as we are talking about Super Mario Odyssey. This is my favourite game of all time. It's what motivated me to save up for a Switch at the ripe old age of 11 and is what I consider the catalyst for me starting my channel. And as of October 27th, this game will be 5 years old, which is just crazy to me. So to hide the fact that I'm feeling like I'm 95 at the age of 15 and also just an excuse to talk about this game with a snappy title and thumbnail, I'm going to take a look at Super Mario Odyssey 5 years later. Okay, let's address it. The story in Super Mario Odyssey is just as bad as any other Mario game. I constantly see people talk up the game's story, but it's just the same thing! Peach gets kidnapped, only now Bowser's trying to force her to marry him. I see people try to claim that this is some amazing act of writing genius on behalf of Nintendo and that this change made the story really investing, but I mean like, really? I mean sure it's a neat change up to the normal formula that adds more flavour, but it's not like some stroke of genius. I like the wedding aesthetic, but story-wise this does nothing for me. I mean the most this does is bring up some weird implications about Bowser's moral compass. And as usual there's basically nothing outside of a Peach kidnapping storyline here. The most we get is in each kingdom where they all have a little side plot going on. Notice how I said little? These side plots basically all boil down to Bowser stole our stuff, can you go get our stuff back? That's it. Long story short, this is a bad, overused and underwhelming story. 2 out of 10. Okay, I'm sorry, I know I said that this is my favourite game and then I immediately crapped all over it, but I'm ready to start praising now because holy hell is this an amazing world. The designs, the themes, the NPCs! For example, let's compare two of my favourite kingdoms, Seaside Kingdom and Metro Kingdom. Seaside Kingdom is a nice relaxing beach accompanied by calming music, a lovely sunset and crystal clear waters as far as the eye can see. The calm ambiance created by this music coupled with the stunning visuals really ties this kingdom together as a nice little spot to chill out and play some volleyball with the locals. And then you have Metro Kingdom, a big, bustling metropolis swarming with cars, garbage, and PS2 graphic, realistic people. Is he okay? Can someone check up on this guy? I think he's dealing with some things. The tall buildings, smooth jazz, and bunches of people and cars making their way around this place work in tandem to sell the big city feel. And you can make this comparison with just about all the kingdoms here. They all carry their own unique feel and charm, while at least most of them manage to feel like they're a part of the same game. And I do say at least most here because some of these kingdoms go too far out of the box to feel like levels from the same game. Some of these kingdoms truly do feel like outliers. The kingdoms I see pointed out the most are Metro Kingdom and Luncheon Kingdom, and while I personally really enjoy these two kingdoms, especially Metro, it is hard to deny how weird they feel when compared to the other kingdoms. Now these aren't the only outliers, like I said, these are just the ones I see pointed out the most. There are definitely more, but honestly for as much as these levels stick out like sore thumbs, I wouldn't say they're bad to any degree. But when it comes to the final scoring, I am going to give it a 9 as opposed to a full on 10 that I would have liked to give it here. While yes, the world presented here is absolutely flawed, it absolutely makes up for it in charm and presentation. Except for you guys, you're all abominations. 10 out of 10. I know I haven't given you any reasoning yet, I'm just letting you know ahead of time that the gameplay here is a 10 out of 10. Let's start off with the movement. This is the best controlling video game I have ever played. I can't describe to you in any way that would do justice just how these controls flow, so I'll just say that the controls here are as close to perfect as possible, if not just flat out perfect. Every jump, flip and cap throw is nailed to a T, and if you mess up, that's on you. And while we're on the topic of movement, can we talk about the basically infinite movement options in this game? Let me list to you every kind of jump in this game. Jump, triple jump, long jump, ground pound jump, cap dive jump, backward somersault, side somersault, wall jump, spin jump. That's just for jumps! Just in case you haven't guessed by now, there are a lot of options in this game when it comes to movement, and it all feels so natural. These controls are the definition of easy to pick up, hard to master. I mean, have you seen the speedruns of this game? They are crazy. And what adds to this gameplay massively is our new friend Cappy, but a quick word please before we continue praising this game. In my Super Mario Galaxy video, I said that I prefer both Galaxy's Spin Jump and Sunshine's Flood to Super Mario Odyssey's Cappy, and I want to make a change to this list real quick. Cappy's the best, Flood is the second best, and the Spin Jump is the worst. I'm not going to go back and change the video, and I'm not going to go into any more depth on this topic because I'm lazy, I don't know. Okay, you can get back to your video now, thank you. Cappy in this game offers some amazing mobility. You can dive off him in the air for extra height and airtime, basically give a finger to walls, and pull off some pretty neat tricks. Again, speedruns of this game are crazy, but by far the highlight of this little guy and the biggest change up to the Mario formula offered by this game is the ability it grants you to take over enemies, gaining their unique abilities and attributes. This is called capturing, and it is just so good. Using this we can capture many classic Mario enemies, Goombas, Bullet Bills, Hammer Bros, but on top of this there are a bunch of new enemies you can capture, and they are all amazing. This is some of the most creative stuff I've seen in Mario. I mean, look at this dude. This is an up root, and after capturing him you unlock the ability to extend your roots and reach tall areas. Or how about this guy? This is a Gushion. You use him to shoot water out of a hole we're not going to talk about and fly all over the place. How about this snazzy fellow? This is a Moai. When you first capture him he doesn't seem to do anything interesting, but once you put his glasses down you gain the ability to see invisible platforms at the cost of your speed. And these are just off the top of my head. These captures completely replace traditional power-ups, and I couldn't be happier because we got such a killer mechanic as a result. And I'm not done gushing yet. Please laugh, because we've not even spoken about the boss fights yet. The way that the boss fights implement captures is incredible. Hell, in some bosses you're required to stay captured the entire time. Most of these bosses are designed entirely around these captures, and they have some really interesting designs because of it. Take this flower robot for example. To defeat it, you have to use the Uproot's growth ability to smash a bunch of energy cores until it eventually flips over, revealing its weak point, which you then attack using that same growth ability. The boss will also attack you using these big red energy beams that you have to extend and hop over. While these bosses are easily my favourite of the game because of how much they play into the capturing mechanic, there are other bosses that leave you without a capture, most notably these guys. These are the Boodles. They're Bowser's most consistent minions, and you'll have to fight them multiple times over, and overall, they're fine. But they're not the only bosses you fight without a capture, because is that a dragon? So, yeah, there's a hyper-realistic lightning dragon in this Mario game, but hey, at least that's the only hyper-realistic lizard in this game. Is that T-Rex Mario? I think that's T-Rex Mario. I love this game. But hey, none of this would even matter at all if the levels we play through are bad, so what's going on there? This game embraces the open design of Sunshine in 64 on a level they were never able to achieve. These big open levels are called kingdoms, and they are great. While the quality of these kingdoms may differ, they are all tons of fun. Even my least favourite kingdoms such as Lake and Snow have their high points. And when kingdoms are good, they are good. Cap Kingdom, Cascade Kingdom, Sand Kingdom, Wooded, Lost, Metro, Seaside Luncheon, Bowser's Moon, so many good kingdoms. All of these kingdoms are fitted with their own unique cultures to help flesh them out further with their own locals and lore. And from a gameplay standpoint, they're filled to the brim with collectibles. You have coins, purple coins, and moons. The coins here are interesting as they actually replace lives in this game. Yep, no more dated life count, instead lives are infinite, and when you die you instead lose coins. Now you may be asking, why should I care about losing coins, and to that I say, Business Mario. These coins can be used to buy collectibles ranging from decorations for your airship to outfits. And Business Mario. So losing these coins can be pretty upsetting when you're trying to save up for the next outfit. You also have these regional purple coins which you use to nab some items that are exclusive to that kingdom. And finally, of course, you have moons. Once you grab a decent number of moons, you'll be able to progress onto the next kingdom. So stars, these are stars. While these may seem like just a simple reskin of your typical star, they have one big difference that keeps them from feeling exactly the same. And that difference is... the fact that I managed to find enough to beat the game during that dramatic build-up. Yeah, so these things are literally everywhere. This game was designed in such a way that even if you only had 10 minutes to play, you'd be able to find at least one moon, and you're probably expecting me to talk about how this devalues the feeling of finding a moon and whatnot, but I honestly adore this. Not only for the obvious sake of convenience and being able to play for 10 minutes and still progress, but also because it's just plain fun to sit down and yoink as many moons from one kingdom as possible. I know that typically in a Mario game you have to work to earn your power star or moon, but in this case I really do prefer being able to pick up the game and find a bunch of moons in just 10 minutes without being kicked out of a level a million times in between. But I will say, it definitely does suck when you beat a boss and you get the same reward that you could have gotten for just ground pounding a glowy spot on the floor. And last, but most certainly not least, let's talk about the 8-bit sections. Dotted around the kingdom, you can find these 8-bit pipes which transport you to a classic version of Mario. These sections are just plain neat, and hey, the music even turns 8-bit when you enter these sections, which is a detail Nintendo didn't need to add, but they did anyway. As I said earlier, my rating for the gameplay here is an easy 10 out of 10. This is one of the finest polished games I've ever had the pleasure to play. Everything here has clearly been fine-tuned to be the best it possibly can be, and does it ever pay off? This game runs with Nintendo's theme of doing more with lesser hardware, because wow is this game ever pretty. Whether it's the calming sunset over Seaside Kingdom, the shady forests of Wooded Kingdom, or the grayscale streets of New Donk City, this game delivers a stylistic punch to the gut. Sure, it might not be the most technically impressive thing ever, but does it have to be? Keep in mind, you can even play this anywhere you want thanks to it being on the Switch. I'm gonna give the graphics here a solid 9 out of 10 for looking so good on something as powerful as the Switch. Okay, let's start it off by addressing the obvious. Jump Up Superstar is a catchy toe tapper that you will be singing for weeks after playing this game, and the segment it plays in is just phenomenal. An 8-bit celebration of Mario and his history that is just so good. Have I mentioned I like this game? However, outside of this song there's nothing here that really stands out. Don't get me wrong, it's all solid stuff, just don't expect to get your socks knocked off. 9 out of 10. The score here was absolutely boosted by the amazing Jump Up Superstar. Super Mario Odyssey is my personal favourite game of all time, and that's by no coincidence. This game sports the best gameplay and visuals in a Mario game, with its music and world following not too shortly behind being decent in their own rights. If you asked me to describe this game in one word, it would be fun. I can't tell you how much time I've sunk into this game just running around and jumping, not really doing anything at all. It's just one of those games that you can play for hours upon hours upon hours and not even come close to finding everything or even wanting to put it down. No matter what the final score ends up being, I do and always will love this game to bits. Speaking of the final score, let's find out just what it is then, shall we? 7.8 out of 10. Trust me, I did the math. Welp, I've been Robbie with an IE, you've been amazing, have a lovely day.